German Chancellor Angela Merkel is key to the UK agreeing to a successful Brexit deal during trade negotiations with the Brussels club. Jan-Erik Grindheim, a Norwegian political scientist at Civita, also suggested the EU would become more flexible to Britain's demands in negotiations. Speaking exclusively to Express.co.uk, he said, "I think if you look at the first reactions, the European Commission was very, very angry and disappointed maybe." Then Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany, said, "Well, let's keep calm. We need Britain in." Getty Brexit News, a Norwegian legal expert outlined why the EU will become more flexible in Brexit talks. "Of course, I think the EU will be more flexible because the UK has such an important link between the UK and the EU, not only on trade but also on research, also on the logic of the importance of the free market. I think the UK has big support from Germany and Angela Merkel because they look also at the European Union, yes, as a political project but primarily a free market economy." Speaking in February, Mr. Grindheim also claimed the UK's approach to standards is another reason why the European Union will want to keep close ties post-Brexit. He said, "I think the UK's pragmatic way of seeing things, and also I think what is good with the UK and what has been good is keeping the standards very high and that you demand good results. I think they will be more flexible because the UK has such an important link between the UK and the EU not only on trade but also on research." Jan-Erik Grindheim, a Norwegian legal expert, "In fact, that is very important for the European Union to succeed in the future, so I think they need a good relationship with UK also for their own sake." He later added, "I still think Angela Merkel's view on the Brexit issue is important. Not at least since it seems that Emmanuel Macron, the French president, is less concerned about Britain leaving than Merkel is. This is a bit surprising, given the positive view Macron has on the EU as a whole and the good relationship he tries to develop with Angela Merkel. They would both be much better off if Britain stayed in the EU, not at least if the EU in the future also has to take more responsibility for its own security and defense policy." Mr. Grindheim also trashed the idea of the UK adopting his country's model with the EU, claiming Britain should not accept it. "You leave the table, but you take the rest and that is the problem," he said. The comments from the Norwegian legal expert came before Britain agreed an implementation period with the EU which effectively keeps the UK in the single market and customs union until the end of 2020. The European Union has repeated its message that it is up to the UK to think of a solution for Britain's future relationship with Brussels. Speaking in Germany on Monday evening, the EU's Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier said the UK may have to adapt its red lines. Frenchman said, "It is now up to the UK to come up with its vision for the future, which should confirm the UK's red lines or adapt them. This is true for the future relationship. It is also true for issues of the withdrawal such as Ireland and Northern Ireland, where we have done our share of the work. Once we have more clarity from the UK, we will prepare a political declaration on the framework for the future relationship to accompany the withdrawal agreement in the autumn." The Irish border remains a huge sticking point in negotiations, with the UK and EU committed to there being no hard infrastructure on the island of Ireland. The UK government was also defeated last week in the House of Lords, which effectively keeps the door open to the UK remaining in the customs union. Staying in the customs union would decimate Britain's chances of striking trade deals with countries like the US, Australia and India post-Brexit.